Hi, everyone, and welcome to my I Love Learning podcast. I am live from Green Bay, Wisconsin today, where they're saying it's balmy weather, but honestly, for me, I am so cold and I am excited to be here today because I have an incredible guest. And if don't know me, I'm the CEO of Luma Brighter Learning, and I am a passionate believer that learning in small actions can actually spark extraordinary change in people's lives. And this season, my third season, is all about the power of small, where we can explore small, tiny habits and small mindset shifts that can change our everyday lives. And honestly, they can lead to huge transformation in our work, in our relationships, and in our lives. And this was about 3 weeks ago or so. I can't keep track of my time with the travel, but I was on LinkedIn and something stopped me in my tracks. And I came across my guest, one of his comments, Mark Phillips. And if you don't know Mark, he is the vice president of operations at Sharkey Transportation. And one thing that really stood out was his powerful reflection that he posted in response to a tragic loss in the trucking community. It was a reminder to all of us that mental health is often overlooked. And really, what I learned from him and talking with him is how we really need to slow down and listen to truly see each other. We're just all moving so fast. And especially in this industry of trucking where the world moves so fast, Mark really challenges us to pause and recognize the human side of work. I know he's a leader who understands both the big picture and the smallest of details. He is a coach at heart and someone I know is deeply committed to supporting others, not just in business, but honestly in life. And beyond transportation, he's a motivational speaker and a youth coach. And he is really passionate about guiding the next generation. So I'm going to welcome him to this show today. In each week, when I talk with folks, if there's something that really resonates with you, I challenge you to leave a comment, share your story, share the podcast, because these small moments can really change people's lives. And go ahead and like and comment on the show today because here is Mark. And I am so excited that his camera worked because honestly, I wanted to share and showcase his awesomeness. Thank you, Mark, so much for joining me today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone really what you're passionate about?
So, my name's Mark Phillips, as you said earlier. Thank you for the introduction. That was kind of, I don't know if I've ever had anything like that happen, but I'm vice president of operations at I call us a mid-major trucking company in West Central Illinois. And, my style, I guess one of my passions is my style of leadership, which is servant leadership. We
Mm,
all matter. None of us do, in my opinion. You had mentioned the post I put out on LinkedIn, and mental health um, for me was non-existent until just a few years ago, and so I'm pretty passionate about that. And what drives me, I guess, daily would be I love to teach. I love to share
mm.
my knowledge, and I love to learn knowledge from others, and just keep growing. And um, you said those two words, mental health. I wasn't sure if that was going to come out or not, but that's a big deal. And I'm not afraid to just be candid about the fact that it's important. It's still your health. And we would go to the doctor for a broken bone, a cold, a sneeze, or whatever, and that's health. But then, primarily in men, we're too tough because for me, I'm old, so
You're
we
not old. Come
we
on.
came, we came through the suck it up buttercup generation, and
Yeah.
um, and mental health just kind of gets pushed to the side. And when you go quiet, that's when there's trouble. Really, honestly,
Right.
if you're not reaching out. So that the story of the professional driver that suspected, fact or fiction, I don't know. I only know what was posted on LinkedIn, that he took his own life or her own life. Um, it just didn't sit good with me. So, I think about the suicide a lot. and not for me, but I mean the impact it has age 18 to 35 in men. So I am passionate about that as well.
I love that, and one of the reasons I actually started my podcast back in 2023 was for that very reason because I had a driver reach out to me, and I've had several drivers since then reach out to me and express, and this isn't just a driver problem, this is a human problem, and there's so many people walking that you don't know what they're going through. And you said something that was really impactful when I interacted with you, and it's like we're just moving so fast and we just need to listen. We do so much talking and talking over each other and not truly listening. Is this something like that you read somewhere, or how did you learn this, or was it something you experienced? This idea of just truly slowing down and being there for each other.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what the answer to that is for me really as a whole. It just, uh, I've experienced loss by suicide of an individual that I cared very dearly about. And it's hard, and you think I failed personally to stay in touch, check in, check up, and see how things are going or whatever the case may be. And that um, it just stuck with me. I think about friends, and we say, I'm your friend, and I'm your friend, and I'm your friend. But at the end of the day, and I am looking at my ugly picture in the camera there,
Oh,
talking to myself, going, you're selfish. It's me, 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 me.
mm,
And if you think about that, if we are not so selfish and we start thinking about, you and you and you and you, and we're checking in, and everybody does that, then everybody in our circle is checking back on me. And so
mm,
it's kind of contagious if we're looking out for each other versus, I think I put in one of my posts, we live in a fast food world where we order window one, and we order pay window one, pick it up in window two, whatever it is. It could be, we just want it right now is my message there, whatever it is.
mhm, mhm,
So that's, I just, trucking's never going to slow down. That's part of the
mhm.
what we do, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean we can't check on people. So
Absolutely. I love that. So Susan Smith, I don't know if you know Susan Smith, but she actually sent me a note last night. She wrote me a note, and it's going to be in my mailbox sometime. She was worried I didn't get it. Well, I've been traveling, so I was in, oh, you mentioned Oklahoma and then Michigan and now Green Bay, and I just haven't been home to get it. And she was checking on me because the thing is, people assume that everybody is fine. You're a business owner, you're a vice president, I'm a CEO. The thing is, we everyone needs that, and it's beautiful that she even had the moment to think. She saw I was traveling to write me a note to make sure I was okay, and that's very I'm thankful for that because we do need to check on each other, and because you don't ever know, it is lonely, it can be lonely, and so I appreciate your beautiful heart, honestly, because you're a leader, and the industry needs to see more and connect with more leaders that lead like you and that truly care because you have the empathy to do that. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I know that anyone that you touch appreciates what you do, for the industry. And last week, I actually had Christy Brown on my podcast, and she is in the industry. And she wanted to ask you if there was someone who's impacted your life in a meaningful way for you to like be like this and like why they impacted you.
well, yeah, and that's, I grew up a single parent household, my mother and three sisters. So in a small town, so you can
Mm,
imagine the rumors and the stuff that went around, right? It was challenging at times. And when I played sports, I just had a coach that in my high school years, my junior high coach made an immediate impact, and then my high school coach solidified that. And I just wanted to be like him because I felt like he did it right all the time.
Mm. Mhm.
He walked the walk. He was a Christian man. Uh, and he just said, if you believe in something and it's not immoral, illegal, or going to put you in jail, you dig your heels in and you don't waver. And I
Mm.
remember that quote to the
Wow.
T. And that was personal. That was not a team speech. That was
Mhm.
him talking to me. And so that stuck in me for forever. And I'm guilty that I haven't checked in on him in probably a year and a half, and we've stayed in touch all these years because he was definitely a big impact for me.
You make that note today, Mark. You send him an email or a text message.
I am going to as soon
Everyone,
as
let's
we're
all
done
check
here.
on someone. We'll all check on someone today that we have lost touch with. We'll check
Yep.
on them and make that a point, And this whole season for me is about the power of small because I know, like Susan Smith reaching out to me, for example, those small moments make a big difference in our lives. What is like maybe an example of a small but mighty moment in your journey that you feel changed everything for you, or maybe changed a moment for you?
Like, and and I've both of these coaches know what I think of them. So that was my goal at age 26 was to go face to face and tell them how much I appreciated them. But this one, um, the start, I guess, of the journey would have been my seventh grade year. Our basketball team was making it to the state tournament for the first time
Wow.
in school history. And I can remember I was actually just at that school a couple hours ago with my um, grandson that's living with us
Oh,
for a
I
meeting.
love
And
that.
I actually was walking down the hallway and I didn't say it, but I'm thinking another 50 steps is exactly where Coach Johnson said, I believe in you. And that was the first,
Oh.
for me, that was the first male figure in my life that had ever said that to me. And it was just it was profound at the time. And to this day, I mean, we're talking 40 some years later, it still sticks. So I didn't just hang on to that. I think about, unfortunately, we're in a world where in a lot of spots titles mean something, and
Mhm.
I don't take it that way at all. I mean, we all matter, none of us do. So if I can use this podium to touch a young man, a young woman, or anybody for that matter, and look them
Mhm.
right in the face and say, I believe in you, and it makes a difference, then that's the goal.
I love that. Oh my gosh, Mark, that's so incredible. Because you know what? A lot of times some people never hear that.
Exactly right.
I was at a driver orientation this week and I have these little I don't have any right near me, but these little I you are a winner stickers and they're our mascot and I carry them in my bag because I give them to unexpected people. They don't think they're going to get. I handed this to the driver and he blushed. He's like, I'm like, you are a winner. You are a winner. You're a truck driver. You keep the world. You're our hero. Like everything we have comes from you. And you could tell no one's ever said that to him. He's
Right.
never felt that. He couldn't believe. And he said multiple times in this orientation that you people care about me. Like you really want me to succeed. And I just think this is an opportunity in any industry, but especially our industry, to really help somebody like that person made in your life. I mean, you have the power of those words to change someone's life forever.
They do. They absolutely do. And as a driver, I don't know that we talked about that, but um, I'm really passionate about our drivers, and they
Mm.
know that. And my last company I worked at, they know that because I did drive. I've got over a million out there, and you think you're in your hotel room, and I'm in the house I'm living in right now until we get one. We're still in the middle of the move, but they're in an 8x8, 8x10 box
Mhm.
by themselves.
Mhm.
And it's hard. It is a lifestyle that's very, very challenging on a lot of levels.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say if a driver or anybody told you that they've lost their passion and they can't find it and they don't know where to go? What advice would you have for them to take that next step forward?
Well, for me, speaking from experience, I mean, again, we live in a fast-paced world.
Mm,
Everything that needs to be done should have been done yesterday or last week or last month. And I think we get overwhelmed at looking at what the end result should be.
mm,
And I'm guilty of that. And I do get overwhelmed sometimes. I'm like, how can I do this? And in my brain, I go two things. Mark, you got to show up
mm,
and you just got to do little
mm.
step at a time. Not not you're not gonna solve everything
That's true.
right then. It's just show up and start. Show up and start. And there's a part of that, your surroundings are important, and I think people
Mm,
really need to think about their circle, and
mm,
this is stolen, this is not my line. I read this on LinkedIn, and it's so true. Um, and I'd give the person credit if I knew who it was, but this stuck. Your circle is either your power or your poison.
mm,
And that is so critical, and you really need to think about if it is your poison, you gotta make some tough decisions, have some tough conversations, and just show up and start.
mhm. That is so true. And I love the fact that you said it's small because I think a lot of times people get stuck because they think there's so much to do, so breaking it down into manageable steps, but then also you're right, having your circle support you and not detract you from your step, you
Right,
know?
right, right. I did we did an offsite meeting several years ago, and one of our
Mm.
slides was, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at
Mm.
a time." And
Yes.
I mean, 8,000 pounds, however big they are, that's pretty overwhelming. But one bite at a time, eventually you can tackle it. It's just, staying engaged and don't be afraid to raise your hand. I mean, my whole career um, has been made off of resources. And I always tell everybody there's no dumb questions out there because I've asked all of them. And anything I teach or preach is from failure. So, and that's the God's honest truth. I'm not kidding
Mm.
about that. I've got
Mm.
really good circle of power where I'm at now, and um, definitely use your resources. Don't fight alone. And I use the analogy, and this is kind of sad, but if you if you run over a cat with your car, they just run in the. I know, but listen to the whole.
Okay. All right. I'm
They
not
will
joking.
they will just run in the ditch or the field and die. You won't hear
Uh-huh.
a peep. But if you like act like you're going to kick a dog, they will yelp until the end of tomorrow. And so I
Mhm.
tell everybody, don't be a cat, don't be quiet, don't suffer
Mm.
in silence.
Yes. Don't do it. Reach out. Where can people reach out to you, Mark? Where can they find you? Where if
So
someone's suffering and they want to have you in their power circle, I want you in my power circle. Where can they
i'm
find
not
you?
I'm not
Yeah?
a big social media guru, but
Yeah?
I'm pretty heavy on LinkedIn, so I do check
Um,
that daily. That would be the best
okay.
spot.
We'll post that. People can find you. That's
Yeah.
good. I want people to be in your power circle. That's
Well, I want them
really
in my
good.
power circle
Yes, I
because I
love
need them too.
that.
So
I love that. So next week I have my guest next week is going to be Lena Henry, and she wrote a book. It's like it's based on her research, and I read it for male leaders and leadership who are struggling that are like the cat, Mark. They don't talk
yeah.
about it, and they're struggling, and they have to show up. They're a CEO or they're a vice president, and they have to show up and meanwhile, they're struggling internally. So she's going to be, what should we ask her next week? What do you think?
I'm really excited about that, and I want that book. We can talk later on that, but I want to know if she's seen an impact from that book.
Okay.
I want to thank her for putting it out there. And as men, we're too prideful, too tough, too strong. We don't want to show vulnerability. So God bless her for putting that book out there. So my question is, not only do I want to know if it's made a difference, but what what incident or what happening um, nudged her to write that book?
No,
Don't think
I think I know, but we'll
I
have
do
her
too.
answer it.
I
I
do
think
too.
I know, but we'll have her answer it.
Yep.
So it's very impactful. I read it. It's so true. And I think one of the most impactful things that you have said, and I've seen you say two things. One is don't suffer in silence, right? Like the cat. And if you're on the receiving end, we need to slow down, right? We need to pause and be present with people because we never know what somebody's going through.
It's part of showing up.
It's part of showing up. Well, Mark, thanks for showing up and being on my podcast
Yep.
today. I'm so glad I know you. I'll post your information below if anyone wants to reach out. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, everyone. Well, you heard it from Mark. Be kind to others and definitely be kind to yourself. And as Susan Smith reminded me this morning, we all need to extend ourselves a little grace. And that's for real. So do that today. Reach out to someone you've lost touch with and say hello, check in on them, and you just never know the impact you're having. So if you like our show, be sure to follow, share it, like it so that it extends its reach and we can help save and change lives. I appreciate you. Until next week, be safe, be kind, and we'll see you later.